Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
26 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series. Bruins, Lightning, Sunday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The decision-making by Robert Kraft over the course of the last few years, significantly better than it was, obviously, when there was the pitting of Mayo and Belichick against each other, which hurt Belichick and hurt Mayo. If you said to Kraft, would you have a do-over in that moment, he would say, yes, I don't like the way I did it. But if you tell me it ends up with Mike Vrabel as the successor to Belichick, however you got there, unbelievable.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Every Royal Rumble begins the same way, with someone stepping through the unknown. For decades, these moments have opened doors to glory, to heartbreak, to immortality. All those.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. Tuesday night SEC basketball. 23rd ranked Alabama would get a career-high 7 3-pointers from Latrell Reitzel as the Crimson Tide would use a strong second half to pull away from Missouri 90-64. Alabama travels to take on Florida Sunday noon tip-off. 18th ranked Vanderbilt with their largest win over Kentucky since 2008 as the Commodores ease past the Wildcats 80-55. And 15th ranked Arkansas gets an 83-79 road win over Oklahoma. Auburn goes for their 5th win in 6 tries tonight as they welcome Texas. Tip-off set for 6 p.m. Tigers a 5.5-point favorite. ESPN is reporting that former New England Patriot head coach Bill Belichick, who won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach and 2 as a defensive coordinator, was not voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on. That's my dog. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my...
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
It must be Wednesday. I called it hump day.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Hump day. Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Listen, guess what today is? It's hump day. Woo-hoo! It is hump day in the dog. So welcome all today. You know, I got to tell you, I may need to start calling Wednesday Potpourri Wednesday in the doghouse. Woo! That's what it is. Yeah, it's a potpourri Wednesday in the doghouse. I mean, I got things. What happens is that I'm like a sewer. Okay, that's what I am. I'm a sewer, and what happens is I get backed up every once in a while. You know what I mean? Is that all of these things that I want to get to in the show and everything else that I don't get to, and I always am over prepared. It's from my coaching days, to be honest with you. You over-prepare, you do your game plan, you use 25% of it. And that's what I do with the show. I over-prepare the show, and then I have stuff that I leave on a cutting room floor that's sitting there that I wanted to get into the show from yesterday, the day before. Some of it is dated, some of it is not. And so what happens is I get backed up, okay? I get backed up. And then every once in a while, I need to break out a plunger. and get this stuff out of me because I have so much stuff.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
It's all just bouncing around in there, and I need to get this stuff out of me. It's just like
whatever happens, we just another player.
Yeah,
and everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah, it's like that. I just crap another idea out of my head. So I'm going to try and get through some of this stuff today. We'll see if that works out today or not. And look, today's first hour of the show is wide open. So feel free to get in on any of these topics in hour number 1 if you like. You don't even know what the topics are yet. Maybe you just got something you want to talk about. So you can get in hour number 1. Because hour number 2 is going to get a little busy with David Moulton of Miller and Moulton in the Morning joining us with his take on just about everything in the sports world. And we have to ask him, what is he looking forward to this weekend? And what are we as sports fans? Look, this is the dreaded dead weekend before the Super Bowl. What are you looking for? And to be honest, there's some pretty salty stuff coming up this weekend. I mean, I can come up with a pretty good schedule this weekend if you're going through football withdrawal, if you can stand anything else. Because many of you, if it's not football, then you're going to watch football, movies or something. Well, yeah, there's the Senior Bowl. You can watch some of that stuff. I don't feel like it means what it used to mean as much. But, some of y'all won't watch anything sports-wise. You'd be like just going to hibernation. You just like forget about it. You think that it's totally over now. And that's not 100% the case. There's some pretty good stuff out, and we're going to need it. Because this cold snap that we are in is going to get even colder and snappier over the weekend. I'm seeing a high of 19 on Saturday. So, for me, all right, got Saturdays are free. I've got barn work to do. I've got rods to rig out there in the boat bay. I've got tackle to put away. I've got organizing to do. I can't do any of that. My barn's not heated. I can't do anything like that out there. And then I got in the North Bay of the barn is where the wood shop is. And I'm reorganizing everything. So everything's been torn apart and so on. I opened up the middle bay for my son's landscaping stuff. We got mowers in there and weed whackers, and he did all this great, work in there, getting everything organized and everything for the season. So I cleared everything out of the middle bay, which was my wood shop. I want everything where I can find it, and I want everything put back where I can find it. I take a tool out of one of the drills or reciprocating saw, whatever. I put it right back. I use it. I put it back. I'm the guy that takes the bits back out of the drill and put them back into the bit thing. The little bit cases that I got. I keep those things in there. Some guys, they don't care. They put the bits all in the thing. I don't. I have old tackle boxes that I use for screws and things like that. I'm organized. That's just the way I roll. I'm bothered by the fact that this studio has not been. Usually at Christmas time, and I have that little few days off, I go through all my files and organize. I still got some bins. I got files. I got some stuff I got organized in here. That's the kind of stuff that I generally do. But I won't be able to do that in the studio, even though I got heaters in here. When it's 19 degrees out, the studio just throws its arms in the air and says, screw it, we can't do it. Can't do the barn. So we got to see what we're going to watch. Sit in front of a fire and watch. That's what I do. So I got to find out what he's watching. Also in the second hour of the show today, Pro Football Hall of Famer Walter Jones will join us. Walt is quite possibly the best left tackle in the history of the NFL. And if he's not, he's on a very short list. You know what I've never asked Walt is who does he consider the best left tackle in the, who are the left tackles? Joe Thomas. Who are the other left tackles that he thinks of when he thinks of the best ever? Anyway, Walt played his entire to his SUV, but with a strap, because his driveway was like, probably 600 yards, and it drops down to the house. So he would hook himself up to his SUV, put it in neutral, and he would drag the SUV up the driveway. That's how he would train in the off season. Famously, Walt, I think he missed 3 or 4 training camps because he was always on that 1-year deal, and he would miss training camp, and then right before the season started, they would sign him, and then he would come in and he would do great. Our sons, Walt's son and my son, played football together in Sparkman many moons ago. 2005, 4 and 5, something like that. Walt used to come to the show. He used to come on the show all the time. Then he would come out to remotes all the time. We would do those draft shows and stuff, and Walt would come out and hang out with me at the show. I mean, it's going to be great to catch up with him. Hall of Famer. All right, your phone lines are open. Feel free to jump in and contribute. 256-576-4977. That number is good wherever and however you consume the show. We have a text window that is open for you as well. We'll read and react to those on the air. 7329-TA-SHOW. That's 732-982-7469. Text. Now at my X page at Thom Abraham Show. You can go check it out there. I'm back in the Big Dog Production Studios. That's what you're seeing behind me there. All right. Item number 1 for today. Last night on the hard courts, the Tide blows out Missouri as Alabama shoots 38% from the 3. That's the magic number. 26%, you get whacked. Like they did against Tennessee. You shoot 38%, that's kind of their number. You shoot 38%, you're going to win. As many threes as they take. Then you turn around and make 23 out of 26 free throws to boot. That'll do it. 88% from the line, that'll do it. As for the Tigers, maybe the worst free throw shooting I have ever seen in my life. I don't think I've ever seen a team make just 8 out of 23 free throws. I mean, how many of those were the front end of one-on-ones? That's 35% for you math majors out there. Have you ever heard of, I don't know, of a CYO team that shoots 30, a girls CYO team, 6th and 7th grade girls that only shoot 35%. How does that happen? You can't compete like that. Vandy smoked Kentucky as well as the Wildcats, who were playing pretty well up until, they were on a heater. They were playing pretty good. They couldn't throw it in the ocean in Memorial Gymnasium last night. Outside of the SEC, Michigan gets a stirring win against Nebraska in a 3-5 matchup. It went right down to the line, right down to the wire. And how about Indiana? Maybe they were inspired by Kurt Signetti and the football team. Indiana went into the game with number 12 Purdue. They were just 4-5 in the Big Ten, and they dumped the Boilers. And everything else was chalk last night. Pace, the speed that we play, it's a different game now, close quote. Yeah, it's a different game now.
History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
It's time for a history lesson with the big dog, Thom Abraham.
In the 80s, they averaged 101 possessions per game. 101 possessions per game. That's pace, right? Up the court, down the court, up the court. Possessions mean pace. 101 possessions per game in the 80s in the NBA. In the 90s, it was 92 possessions per game. And in the 2000s, this century, it's 99 possessions per game. So the 80s actually had a higher average pace of play and more possessions per game, even though they score more now. The reason they score more now than they did then is because they don't play defense. It's not the physical game it was back then. They just jog up and down the floor and fire up threes. Playing 82 games. You know what? If you can't play 82 games, Bron, then maybe they need to cut the schedule back to 70 or 65. Oh, yeah, that'll result in a little bit of a pay cut for you people. Ridiculous. Here's another fact. Since this all came about on the LeBron versus MJ argument, which is not even an argument. LeBron has had exactly one season of where he played all 82 games. How many years? What LeBron played about? I don't know, 25 years. Seriously, I think this is like his 23rd year. He's had one season where he played 82 games. One. In his entire career. Michael Jordan, who played 8 or 9 seasons less than LeBron, Michael Jordan had 9 seasons where he played every game. Now, to be honest, nobody did that. No, I mean, that's just another MJ fact that is just bizarro world. Do you know how many times Shaquille O'Neal played all 82 games? That would be 0. You know how many times Magic Johnson played all 82 games? That would be 0. You know how many times Bill Russell played all 82 games? That would be 0. Tim Duncan did it 3 times. Larry Bird did it 3 times. Wilt Chamberlain did it 4 times. Akeem Olajuwon and Kobe Bryant did it 4 times. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it 5 times. And MJ did it 9 times. 9 seasons. Crazy. All right, back at Mission Control. Playing the Players That Matter, Sacks of Wax, answering the phones. It's the Prodigy, the Grasshopper, sitting side by each with Hollywood Hogan, who's handling the video side of the show.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I'd put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen.
Give me back my son!
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Do you hear the grasshopper, which is at your feet?
Old man, how is it that you hear these things?
Young man, how is it that you do not?
As quickly as you can, snatch the pebble from my hand. When you can take the pebble from my hand, it will be time for you to leave.
So my Apple Watch just sent me a notification. It says loud environment. Sound levels hit 90 decibels. Around 30 minutes at this level can cause temporary hearing loss.
Wow.
I got a lot more than temporary hearing loss. I'm just going to tell you, we're going to go 2 hours of loud environment. I can just tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Grasshopper.
Well, I don't know how your watch is just now telling you this. I mean, it should be, adjusted to it. Oh, it says it every single day.
It's every day.
Okay.
Every day when I start the show. Am I going at 90 decibels? And the watch doesn't even have headphones on like I got.
Well, the watch definitely knows that there's a guy yelling inside of a small room.
Yes.
And it's telling you that. So
yes. By the way, here's one for you. Are you ready? I have this story because you gave me crap that I didn't mention your Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona.
Yeah.
IMSA race.
Great race.
Yeah. Here's the headline. Here's the headline that came across my inbox this morning. I'm telling you, I got a lot of minutia in the show today. I got a lot of crap in the show today. It's a crap Wednesday. You know what I mean? It's a potpourri Wednesday. Here's the headline. Racing fans forced to turn off Daytona 2400 race or 24-hour race after witnessing horrific broadcast.
Well, it depends on which broadcast you're watching. Also depends on when you are watching.
How many?
There
How
were
many?
there were two different broadcasts. One of them was on YouTube, and it was for like everybody. It was for everybody around the world. Whereas in the USA, if you were watching on Peacock, that's where you were watching this race. Which
10,000 commercials.
yeah,
It says
not a huge fan of the commercials on that. Whereas if you're watching on the YouTube one, through on a VPN, might not have been 100% legal. No commercial whatsoever. But at the same time, it was around midnight, maybe a little bit earlier, a little bit later. It could have been. There was a 6-hour delay, pretty much, because of the fog that rolled into Daytona. So thankfully,
they stopped racing because of fog.
They were still going around the track for 6 hours on a caution. So that was the one negative. But thankfully,
race in the fog.
We had a whole lot. Well,
what happens when you race in the middle of the night? Stop racing in the middle of the night. It says in the story, rather than a truly immersive racing experience, viewers encountered a broadcast format that was so disjointed and disruptive that it became the major topic of conversation for the weekend. The frustration reached a boiling point as the, quote, horrific nature of the coverage eventually forced longtime supporters to do the unthinkable, turn off the race entirely.
Jeez.
How about that?
Gotta watch
That's
it.
harsh.
Gotta watch it over on YouTube. That's not because of the race itself, though. The race was great outside of the 6-hour, waiting period.
They're never next to each other.
But the commercials,
look at Hollywood and I want door handle to door handle. We don't want this. We want pack racing. We don't want this all stretched out like that. I'm looking at video in the night portion of the race. The headlights don't even reach the car in front of them.
It's it is tough at nighttime, but that's what makes it fun. And I understand going around in circles, packed up next to each other, very appealing. I will say it's good for my dopamine levels, but at the same time, just having a little bit more of the turns in there, having these cars.
You just like the fact that. Do you like NASCAR road courses when NASCAR goes on road course? Because I don't, because the cars are lumbering. You know what I mean? They don't handle like the IMSA cars do, and they're just lumbering around, and it's single file. I hate when
That's
it's a road.
The biggest problem with whenever NASCAR goes out there. It's just like their boats going around a circuit.
When it's and the circles are fine. Just ridiculous. Here's one for Hollywood. Big NASCAR fan. See, me and Hollywood, we like American racing. We like that. We don't want that matchbox racing that you like. We're NASCAR fans. So you guys don't even remember this because you're so young, especially Hollywood. This happened before he was born. I remember it vividly, exactly where I was. But NASCAR Studios and Fox announced today a new documentary called We've Lost Dale Earnhardt 25 years later. This is the 25th anniversary of Dale Earnhardt dying at Daytona. It's a powerful new original documentary marking the 25th anniversary of the 2001 Daytona 500, a race that changed NASCAR and American motorsports. It premieres Thursday, February 12th at 10 p.m. Now, John, you were a baby, just a little baby, so you don't remember anything about it. It happened the day we moved to Florida. It was the day we arrived in Florida in 2001. And we were watching the race. My dad and I, we watched the end of the race. The race ended. We saw the wreck, but the wreck didn't look very, it just was a wreck.
Yeah, it happens all the time nowadays, and you don't even have to worry about it.
I was 40 years old. It was just a regular looking wreck. It was like, he hit the wall there, and he was clearly blocking for his son and Michael Waltrip, who was running for Earnhardt Enterprises, not, his team, even though Dale was still running for Childress. Anyway, we turned the TV off. My mother is in the other room yelling, get in here for dinner. We turned the TV off. We went and had dinner. We ate dinner. We went back, turned the TV back on, and there was Mike Helton. CNN was on, and Mike Helton was there saying, we've lost Dale Earnhardt. And I was like, it was like a family member died. I was always such a huge Earnhardt fan that it was like a family member died. I'm just looking up at a plaque of Dale Earnhardt that I have on my wall in the studio.
Yeah.
And so this is very poignant. And I don't know, like for you in Hollywood, this is before you guys basically were pretty much even alive. You were alive, but you were a little baby. You were sitting in a car seat when it happened. Hollywood wasn't even thought of yet. He had 5 years before he was even going to be born. And but this is still very, very poignant. I'm very much looking forward to this, but I'm not looking forward to it, if you know what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean. And I still think that I'm supposed to be the second coming of Dale Earnhardt, but you never let me get into racing like I wanted to as a kid. So still waiting on that dream. Maybe it'll come in the next
All
life.
of you guys wanted to, except for Danny. All of my sons wanted to get into racing at one point or another. You did some go-karts, didn't you?
No. I mean,
you didn't. Maybe that was
I
Joe.
rode some go-karts at times, whenever we went out on a family gathering, but outside of that, no, not really.
It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle it. The documentary features intimate reflections from former NASCAR president Mike Helton, Daytona 500 competitors Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Kurt's younger brother, Kyle Busch, who was at that faithful race. Also features insight from NASCAR Cup Series champions Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney. So it's going to be very interesting. And our friend Ryan McGee, you know what? I'm going to get Ryan McGee on, talk about this. Ryan McGee is involved in this thing ever. Quote, when Mike Helton announced that we lost Dale Earnhardt, it's one of those rare moments that you remember where you were when you heard that devastating news. Yeah, I need to get McGee on and talk about this. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back. We'll start with phone calls. All right. So if you want to get in, I've thrown you some topics. It's not even everything. I've thrown you some topics. So if you want to jump on board, you can do that. 256-576-4977. It's Tom Abraham Show. Back with more right after this.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow trucks, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit DriveSafeAlabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
My caretaker was very rough with me. I thought they did it because I wasn't moving fast enough.
Elder abuse is a crime, and together we can stop it. If you or someone you know has been abused, neglected, or exploited, call the Adult Abuse Hotline at 1-800-458.
For 60 months, plus $2,000 customer cash on 25 F-150s. Or choose $4,000 in total rebates instead. We've got new 25 Explorers with 2.9% APR for 60 months, plus $1,500 in total cash. Get 4.9% financing for 60 months on your choice of any new 25 Ford Bronco. Or choose a $2,000 customer cash bonus to get a new 25 Bronco Sport starting at under $29,000. And there's never any hidden markups or dock fees. We hope to see you soon at Lynn Layton Ford, right in the heart of Ford country, just a mile south of the Beltline indicator, or online anytime at lynnlaytonford.com. All offers on select new Ford models with your good credit. Bronco Sport stock number example 27715T. See us for all the details.
Welcome to Kern Electrical, where teamwork powers every project. Our champion sales team takes time to understand your needs, tailoring the perfect Generac generator for your home or business. Our project managers handle all coordination, ensuring a tackle-free installation. Our certified installation crews ensure peace of mind, even in the darkest moments. With our service and maintenance lineups, you can be assured we're with you every step of the way. Experience the home team advantage of Kern Electrical, your Generac superstore.
Most current way to keep your power on. GeneracSuperstore.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
Brian Bellamy State Farm Insurance, located in the Rosie's Shopping Plaza, strives to help customers find the best auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance, and more. No matter where you are in life, Brian Bellamy State Farm Insurance is here to help you find your best insurance and retirement needs. You can find them on the web at brianbellamyagency.com or call them at 256-539-7530. Brian Bellamy State Farm Insurance is a proud supporter of UAH Athletics and reminds everyone to go Chargers. Brian Bellamy State Farm, here to help life go right.
Tide fans.
Here comes the Tide.
Let's move.
And one for the win.
Grab your hard hats and tune in for blue collar basketball with the Crimson Tide all season long on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by Mike Owen and Owen Home Appliance. Mike has over 25 years experience in the appliance industry, and since 2017, Owen Home Appliance has served customers in the Tennessee Valley with a focus on quality products, affordable prices, and excellent customer service. Owen Home Appliance also prides themselves on community involvement as well. They get involved in all kinds of things, sponsoring local teams and events and so on, and they make sure that you get the right appliance at the right price. It's Owen Home Appliance. And then there was one. Is it one or two? Have the Cardinals hired it? Cardinals don't have a head coach yet, do they? So it's the Cardinals and the Raiders. So then there were two. The Cardinals and the Raiders are the only teams left in the NFL without a head coach. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. Cleveland Browns have hired Todd Monken to be their head coach. He was the offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, and he was expected to follow John Harbaugh over to the New York Giants. He was going to be the offensive coordinator for the Giants. Monken will be 60 years old in another week or two, and he takes over for Kevin Stefanski. This is a bit of a melancholy. I don't think Brown fans are real excited about this. This is a little bit of a melancholy hire. I don't think many people thought of Todd Monken as any better an offensive coordinator than Kevin Stefanski was. And Stefanski was the head coach. Now the question is, are they keeping Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator? Is Monken and Schwartz going to work together? Because Schwartz is the same age as Monken. So it'd be a couple of 60-year-old guys running the Cleveland Browns. It's a little bit interesting. Monken has been there for 3 years in Baltimore, and Jesse Minter did not keep him. And, this is the 11th head coach for the Browns since 99. The Raiders have had 13 during that span. We'll see. He was the offensive coordinator for the Browns in 2019 on Freddie Kitchen's staff. John, what was the Browns' record in 2019?
Pretty decent.
No, they were not.
Oh, well.
And Freddie wouldn't have got fired. Freddie was a great offensive coordinator, but he was not. Freddie, by the way, from the area. But Freddie did real well as the offensive coordinator, did pretty well as the offensive coordinator, but not as the head coach. What was the Browns' record in 2019? Put that in the research machine and see what that comes up with.
I was 6-10.
Yeah, 6-10.
I was thinking 2020.
Well, look at 2018. What were they in 2018?
They were 7-8-1. That's when they tied with the Steelers at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but that was, I think what happened there was that was the year that they fired their coach, Hugh Jackson, early in the year, and then the staff took over the rest of the year, and they actually finished on a heater that year, I think. Freddie Kitchens got the job, got the head coaching job. And anyway, in any event, Moulton was one of 5 candidates that the Browns talked to, including their defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, also Jacksonville Jaguars offensive coordinator, Grant Yadinsky, who's only 30 years old. He has gotten a new deal with the Jags as the offensive coordinator there. The Rams passing game coordinator, Nate Shilhassi, and Washington Commanders running backs coach Anthony Lynn, who failed miserably with the Chargers. Yadinsky, he withdrew his name from consideration as well. I thought it was going to be Jim Schwartz or that it was going to be Nate Shilhassi. So here we are, another, again, I'm all about merit, but this is going to start rattling some, you watch, there's going to be some rattling of sabers on here. This is another, older white guy, not really retread because he wasn't a head coach in the NFL, but this is a lifer. Now, remember, he was the offensive coordinator with the Georgia Bulldogs. He did a tremendous job with the Georgia Bulldogs as well. He was a head coach at Southern Miss back in the day, but he was the offensive coordinator for Georgia when they won back-to-back championships in 21 and 22 as well. So Todd Monken is the new head coach of the Browns. I thought the Browns would go defense. I really thought they would go defense. It has not been mentioned yet as to whether or not Monken will retain Schwartz. He'd be an idiot not to. Somehow, some way, they got to keep Jim Schwartz in there. Jimmy Haslam, the owner, said that he absolutely would like to keep Schwartz in the organization. Well, maybe they should have given Jim Schwartz the head coaching job. We'll see. But in any event, that's the route that the Browns have gone. All right, 256-5764-97.7. That will get you in. Just to give you a little more detail, remember yesterday I mentioned that Larry Bird had been drafted by the Boston Celtics, and they held his rights all through his senior year, and that he played in that national championship game against Magic Johnson in '79. Magic Johnson and Michigan State beat Indiana State that year. It actually led to a rule, the Larry Bird rule, which prevented teams from drafting players before they are ready to relinquish their remaining eligibility. So Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics, and this ties into the Charles Bediako story, in my opinion. Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics in the 1978 NBA draft. He was a junior. He was still at Indiana State. He was selected 6th overall, but he decided to stay for his senior year. So back then, the draft was before you made the declaration. Remember famously Peyton Manning, Tim Tebow, declaring that they were coming back for their senior year. Well, then they didn't get drafted. Well, in the NBA back in the late 70s, they had to draft. Larry Bird was drafted by the Celtics and said, yeah, I'm going to stay in college for my senior year, and then took Indiana State to the national championship game. The Celtics held his rights. You could draft a player, and they held it. Now, of course, they didn't sign him. They didn't give him a signing bonus or anything. And then right after, you had to sign the guy before the next draft. So right after the national championship game in '79, they went ahead and signed him to a record deal. They signed him in April, right after the national championship game, before the NBA draft. So how does this tie into the Charles Bediako thing? In my opinion, you tell me why this is stupid, but in my opinion, at this day and age now, 40 years later, okay, when we look at it now, and why does it matter who's paying the players? The players are paid. They have NIL deals and they have revenue sharing deals. Now, for basketball, they're getting a lot less in revenue sharing than football is because there are only 15 basketball players on the team and there are 100 football players. So a smaller percentage, obviously, of money from the revenue sharing goes, for most cases, it's 75% of the money. Most of the schools, 75% of the $20.5 million that they have to spend on their roster will go to football. And then 10%, 12% goes to basketball, 5% to women's basketball, and then 5% to everybody else. Want to throw a little cake at a tennis player, whatever. A gymnast, whatever. But the NIL side, there's no regulations on that. It just has to be a legit NIL deal. So my take is this. Who cares who pays the player? So many players are drafted into the NBA that aren't ready to play in the NBA. Or in the case of Charles Bediako, he comes out, declares for the NBA draft, and doesn't get drafted and ends up signing a two-way with the San Antonio Spurs and ends up playing in the G League, never getting into the NBA. So why is it so preposterous to think, and you could say this for you can say this for any college sport. Say this for baseball. I think you could even say it for football. Why would it be so preposterous for a team to draft a player if they're willing to wait on that player? Why can't the team draft the player, sign the player, and let the player continue to play in college basketball? And then when they want to call him up, they can call him up to the big club. And then once he's played, once he's gone up, then he can't go back. You can't go back and forth between the NBA and college. But why couldn't, a perceived great player, even if he, some of these guys that are one and done, they're one and done and then done. Not every one and done ends up being a star in the NBA. Draft them whenever you want to draft them. If you want to draft a freshman or a sophomore and you want to wait a couple of years, so be it. You know what? Same thing in football. To be honest with you, if you can afford to wait on a guy, seriously, if you can afford to wait on a guy. In other words, let's say Dante Moore is in the NFL draft. They're all eligible for the NFL draft. And let's say that the Raiders want to draft Dante Moore and he wants to play another year of college football and the Raiders can sign him and the clock doesn't start to his second contract, but they can give him a signing bonus and they own the rights to Dante Moore for, 5 years, just like a rookie contract. His first year is going to get burned up playing college. But if they're willing to do that, why not? If somebody wants to draft Arch Manning and wait on him, if the New Orleans Saints want to draft Arch Manning and let him play for Texas for a year, so what? So Larry Bird was drafted by the Celtics. The only difference was he wasn't paid by the Celtics, allegedly. He didn't receive any money. The Celtics held on to his draft rights until the next draft, and then they signed him. Really, we don't even need a G League. What do we need a G League for? Nobody watches the G League. We watch college basketball. Would it be so awful to have players on your favorite college team? Yeah, this guy's property of the Chicago Bulls. This guy's property of the New York Knicks. So what? Charles Bediako, he's property of the San Antonio Spurs, still playing in college. Once you go to the association, you lose your eligibility. They wouldn't even have a G League. There are way more college basketball teams than there are G League teams. They wouldn't have to go to Europe. We can keep them in the country. Why would the kid go to Europe? Is this a stupid idea? Grasshopper, is this a stupid idea?
What, the G League as a whole, or
no? Paid that these players can be drafted and paid by professional teams. I mean, if anybody else can pay them NIL money, why can't they? Plus, it would also free up more of the revenue sharing money, because you wouldn't have to give a guy if Charles Bediako, for example, was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs, and the Spurs give him a signing contract of $6 million or $3 million or whatever. Well, now you don't have to use revenue sharing money on him. That gives the school more money to use on other athletes.
Yeah, but why would the player want to come back if he's not making any more money from doing so?
Well, I'm saying if the player is not ready, if you want to draft a player and develop them, what do? You draft them and you send them to the G League, right? So why not draft him and let him continue playing college basketball?
Okay. I see where you're
I'm just saying,
from.
why not they pay him? Why not? Larry Bird was property of the Boston Celtics his senior year in college. They killed the rule. They killed the rule. It was the 78 draft. The Celtics took a gamble. They drafted him early. He was eligible to be drafted, but he also had 1 year of college eligibility remaining. So he said, no, I'm going to stay in college. And then the Celtics had his rights until the next draft. They signed him right after the national championship game his senior year. And that led to the Bird rule, preventing teams from drafting players unless they were ready to relinquish their remaining eligibility. You could draft. What I'm saying now is, now that we're paying the players, why not let the NBA pay the players?
Well, I like that idea. I mean, technically, college basketball and just college sports in general, it's like
pro
AAA. I mean, it's that next level down. So it's an interesting take on it.
Well, it's real triple. Yeah, if it's going to be AAA, let it be AAA. And the same thing now with baseball, you can be drafted out of high school, and then if you decide to go to college, you're not eligible for the draft again until 3 years later. The team that drafted you doesn't keep your rights. You just go to, well, maybe if you're drafted out of high school, is it better to go play single A ball, double A ball, whatever? Or if you can be drafted and stay playing in college and the pro team pays you, just like they pay the guy that's going to double A. I know, and we have a minor league system. We have a very established minor league system in baseball, and I wouldn't want to jerk with that. So I'm okay with the system in baseball. I think baseball's got the best system. I think basketball should have that system. They're eligible for the draft after their freshman year, and then if they're out of high school, I should say, they're eligible for the draft out of high school. If they choose to not go to where they're drafted and they want to go to college, then they don't go in the draft again until 3 years later. You can even make it 2 years, but at least, I like 3 years, like in baseball. Then they go back in the draft. Do you know how many players went to Vanderbilt and were drafted out of high school, and they were drafted in the 28th round, and then they went to college, played 3 years, like Sonny Gray did at Vanderbilt, and then he turned around, he was the 6th pick in the draft in the first round. So in the case of basketball, go ahead, draft the kid. He's going to go to college. You're going to pay him. You give him a signing bonus, and you pay him while he plays college basketball. Baseball's very established with its minor league system. Basketball doesn't have that other than the G League, and nobody pays attention to the G League. All right, we're going to break. Come back. Got a minute to react to that if you want. It's Thom Abraham Show, Morning.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Alabama Malls, Missouri, 90-64. The Coleman Coliseum last night. The Crimson Tide earned the victory, covering its 10.5-point
home favorites. Today in the SEC, it's Auburn laying 5.5 at home at Texas at Neville Arena, 160.5 the total. Tennessee in action on the road at Georgia. The Bulldogs are the 2.5-point home favorite, 159.5 the total. And LSU, they're at home with Mississippi State at 6.5-point favorites at the Maravich Assembly Center. Jacksonville State Gamecocks today on the road at FIU. It's 4.5-point underdogs, 149.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's softball time in Alabama, and the best place for your travel softball team to play is with USSSA. Not only for the best travel team tournaments, but recreational tournaments as well for your high school level softball team. Plus, Alabama softball will host the USSSA National Championship this year at the Gulf Shore in Orange Beach and the Foley Softball Complex. For more information, visit alfastpitch.usssa.com. Check out the schedule at alfastpitch.usssa.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel & McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Your Fox 54 weather.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Still going to be well below average. Highs only climbing into the lower 40s, dropping into the mid-20s as we head into the overnight early Thursday morning. A partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures once again only climbing into the lower 40s and then dropping into the upper 20s, lower 30s through the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Friday. The temperatures hanging out in the upper 30s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, longtime friends of the show. To be honest with you, it's been about 20 years that we have been hooked up with TOC, and they just do such a great job. They service the Huntsville Havoc, Alabama A&M, most of the high schools in the region. They got 13 locations all throughout the Tennessee Valley. So if you have an orthopedic problem, if you're considering professional care, really, TOC, it's the only logical choice. You need to contact TOC. Make your appointment. When you need them, they're there. Always in the Tennessee Valley, TOC. Now welcome back to Tom Abraham Show. Like it. Love it. Yeah, freshen up the music on the show. Work a little more, little country in there. You have to do that. All right, in hour number 2 of the show, I got some of the randomness off my chest. I didn't get all the randomness off my chest. I haven't talked about some of the things that we want to watch this weekend, because there's some really good stuff to watch this weekend if we're going to be stuck in the house, right? If we can't do stuff outside, we're going to be stuck in the house. I mean, there's some great college basketball. Starting Friday night with the Michigan State game Friday night. I mean, anytime those two get together, that's on Fox. So we got a great game there. Great games over the weekend. You got Alabama and Florida playing on Sunday at noon. Have that thing recording. Got to go take my wife to lunch after church. Come back and watch that. Some great pucks as well this weekend. ESPN, ABC. They have great hockey. You're into that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm thoroughly into the golf tournament, because Brooks Koepka makes his return to the PGA Tour at Torrey Pines, one of my favorite places anywhere. David Moulton is coming up next on the Thom Abraham Show.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he can take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he can take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well, because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. Tuesday night SEC basketball. 23rd ranked Alabama would get a career-high 7 3-pointers from Latrell Reitzel as the Crimson Tide would use a strong second half to pull away from Missouri 90-64. Alabama travels to take on Florida Sunday noon tip-off. 18th ranked Vanderbilt with their largest win over Kentucky since 2008 as the Commodores ease past the Wildcats 80-55. And 15th ranked Arkansas gets an 83-79 road win over Oklahoma. Auburn goes for their 5th win in 6 tries tonight as they welcome Texas. Tip-off set for 6 p.m. Tigers a 5.5-point favorite. ESPN is reporting that former New England Patriot head coach Bill Belichick, who won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach and 2 as a defensive coordinator, was not voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. And they have a brand new product for you. If you happen to be standing on a concrete or tile floor, Valley Equipment has the exact machine for you. Now, whether it's new construction or daily work environments or an area that's been neglected for far too long, the Valley Equipment team of experienced professionals can help you get the right floor scrubber or sweeper for your needs. Call Valley Equipment and ask them for more details on how they can help you out today.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs. This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on. That's my dog. Now live. Here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Dale McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn. I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. It must be Wednesday. I called it hump day. Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Hump day. Huh? Anybody? Mike. What day is it, Mike? Listen, guess what today is? It's hump day. Hump day.
Really, hump day. It is hump day in a doghouse. Welcome in. I'm going to have to start calling this Potpourri Wednesday, I think, because I'm all over the place. I mean, I got to be honest with you. We're in this little bit of a transition period now, and I'm kind of all over the place. I'm all backed up. I'm backed up with takes on all kinds of different things. It's all over the place. Grumpy hit me with a text, said that's the most confusing open I've ever heard. I said, because I'm confused. Okay, but it's just the way it is, okay? And we are welcoming in a new audience to the show, listening on Nashville Sports Radio in Nashville and in Murfreesboro as well, to go along with our friends at 97.7 ESPN, The Zone in Huntsville, and on ESPN Winchester, WCDT as well. Busy hour of the show here. Coming up a little bit later on, Pro Football Hall of Famer Walter Jones will join us. Played his entire career with the Seahawks. We'll get his take on the Seahawks going back to the Super Bowl as well. And look, I say it again. Walt's a great friend, but I'm just going to say this, and I'm not being biased when I say it. He's on a very short list. When you sit there and they say, if they were doing one of them things on the NFL Network about the best left tackle to ever play in the NFL, Big Walt's on that list. I mean, I don't know if he's at the top of that heap. He's on that list. He's coming up a little bit later on in the show. And by the way, note to the producers back in the studio, guys, would you shoot Walt a text and just remind him that we're coming up on him here at the bottom of the hour? Just do that for me, please. I forgot to tell you to do that, so please do that. In the meantime, though, one of the smartest guys that ever comes on the radio show, does a tremendous job with us. He could talk sports of all sorts as well. He's David Moulton, Miller and Moulton in the morning. He is on Talk Radio, WZZN, out of North Huntsville as well, or North Alabama as well, and, of course, everywhere else on YouTube with his show and on other radio stations around the South as well. He joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good. That's very brave of you to admit to everyone that you're backed up. It's
I
very.
need a plunger. I need a plunger today. I'm backed up. I'm backed up.
Is this personally or professionally? What are we talking?
Yeah, professionally. I'm professionally backed up here. It's personally, I'm freezing. Not totally anymore today is bad. It's not as bad today. It's like maybe 38 degrees now, and the studio has warmed up nicely. But, this move to the new time, I forgot. It's 2 hours earlier than normal. And it when it's really, really cold, the studio, which is not insulated, it sometimes takes a little while to warm up. So it's a little bit chilly in here.
And a heck of a week to find that out, because goodness knows it went right past chilly to cold this week throughout most of the country.
No, it's going to be ridiculous. And then this cold snap is even going to get snappier over the weekend. On Saturday, in most of our listening area, they're calling for a high around 18, 19 degrees and a low of around 10. And so it kind of leads us to the conversation of, what do we do? This is the dreaded week before the dead week before the Super Bowl. So I'll ask you the question that I've asked the listeners is that because typically I would go out and do some work in the barn. I could do some work on the boat. I want to get stuff ready for the season, but it's too cold. The barn's not heated either. Is it college hoop? There's some great puck. We got Brooks Koepka back at Torrey Pines. I mean, there's stuff to watch this weekend, for sure.
Well, the college hoop season has been amazing. I mean, they started the year for whatever reason. Don't know if it was a scheduling quirk, but there's never been more ranked teams play one another before Christmas at a conference than happened this year. Now let's look at the top 10. Before last night, a year ago at this time, the top 10 teams in the country had 34 losses entering last night. Entering last night, the top 10 teams in the country this year had 12. And obviously with Nebraska losing, that's 13, but you knew you were going to get a 13th because they were playing Michigan. I mean, think how great the level of basketball has been this year. 34 losses amongst the top 10 a year ago, playing a more challenging non-conference schedule this year, have the elite teams, and they combined for just 12 losses. I mean, the hoops is amazing. The last Saturday, the 3 freshmen who all put 40 burgers on the board. I mean, there are 5 guys who could be the number 1 pick of this draft. The college hoop season's been awesome. Just awesome.
What's weird is that the SEC, which has been considered the dominant college basketball conference of the last few years, it doesn't really have a.
I wouldn't agree with that. Last year, maybe, but I'm sorry, year in, year out, I'd take the Big 12 over anybody. I really would. Now, the SEC was tremendous last year, and it was deep, and maybe even the last 2, but I don't know.
Years. I mean, Alabama was the number 1.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah, no, last 2 years, the SEC, I just don't know that anybody can make the claim that they're better than the Big 12. I think the SEC and Big 12 were equals the last 2 years, but this year, listen, the Big 10 hasn't won a natty since Izzo in 2000, and they got 5 teams ranked in the top 12. I mean, if not this year, when is the Big 10 going to win a natty if not this year? Because when Purdue's your 5th or 6th best team in your conference, you're deep.
Yeah. And then how about Kurt Cignetti coaching the basketball team at Indiana last night?
Right.
Purdue, right? That must have been Cignetti. I mean, how they went into that game 4-5 in the Big 10, and they dumped number 12 Purdue. I mean, that's a good basketball conference right now. There's no doubt.
Google him, Tom. He wins.
He just wins. He just wins. That's what we need to do. We need to Google him, David Moulton, with us here. All right, so on to college basketball. We'll start there. Wait a minute. Before I get there, before I go down that rat hole, I opened this segment by mentioning Walter Jones. He's a friend. I get that. He and my son played football together. He used to live in Huntsville and so on. So we spent a lot of time together. And but I mentioned the short list of left tackles. Would you, as a historian, agree or disagree? Walter Jones is on a very short list of possibly the best left tackle in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, I'd say he's in the top 5. I'd put him in the top 5. I'd go, I'd go back to Shell. And then you could go Orlando Pace and Walter Jones and
I think Joe Thomas might be on that list.
it's
maybe.
it's funny. I think Walter Jones and Orlando Pace were better, but he's certainly
I put him ahead of Joe Thomas. Yeah.
He's certainly a legendary left tackle and one of the 5. I mean, think about how good you are in the history of any sport when you're one of the 5 best to ever play your position. I mean, that's obscene.
Yeah, what was crazy too is back in the day, he famously didn't go to training camp like 4 straight years. They kept franchising him before you could. Now I think there's a limit as to how many times you can.
Twice. Yeah,
but they franchised him every year, and he would be like, first 3 or 4 games of the high school season, he'd be in the stands sitting next to me. We're watching our boys play football. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, that's all right. He goes, they're going to franchise me. I'm going to get a huge check and I'll go in. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm dragging cars up and down my driveway. I'm training. I'm in good shape. I'm ready to go. And they know I'm ready to go. And he would get that top 5 contract every year. It was 3 or 4 years in a row he got franchise tag.
He was elite.
Yeah, it was something. All right, back to the college hoop. So the big story last week has been the Charles Bediako situation. There are a number of moving parts to it. The first thing is that it's look, he's not the only guy. There's a lot about Alabama and Nate Oates, what Alabama's doing, Alabama this, Alabama that. This is not the only guy. I mean, there's other aspects of this, and you can understand a little bit of the story, being that you do have players that make money in Europe and then come over and play college basketball. So I can kind of get some of that. The story of the judge in the case being a major donor,
right?
Alabama,
right.
That's a uniquely Alabama situation. They probably need to recuse himself.
That's very much, it's the SEC. It just means more. That definitely falls under it just means more. Yes.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. But here's where I'm going with this. And tell me, you're good at telling me if I'm totally ridiculous in my ideas or if maybe it makes a little bit of sense. You and I are old enough to remember that Larry Bird was drafted by the Celtics as a junior and returned to Indiana State, played his senior year, and the Celtics had until the next NBA draft to sign him, which they did immediately after the national championship. And then that led to the Bird rule where you couldn't be drafted unless you had declared for the draft anymore. So we've totally reimagined everything now. The kids are getting paid. It's professional basketball in college and so on. Why not let the NBA pay these kids? I mean, when was the last time you tuned in a G League game? Never. All right. But you watch a lot of college hoop. Why not let the NBA, if they're willing to wait for a player, why not let NBA teams draft players, give them their signing bonus, pay them some sort of a stipend or a salary or whatever, not an NBA salary, but pay them while the kid continues to play college and maybe get a degree as well until he's ready. And then you pull him up. Who cares where the money comes from? Why not let the NBA start drafting these kids and leave them in college?
So you want to do that with football too?
I was thinking about it. Like if somebody wanted to take a risk right now and draft Arch Manning, okay, let's draft him. All right, go ahead and draft. If you can wait, if you're the Raiders and you want to wait because you're building your team and you want to draft Arch Manning and you want to give him a $10 million signing bonus. Oh, by the way, he's going to stay and play at Texas. If you can afford to do that and you want to wait, really, why not? Who cares where the, quote, NIL money comes from? Maybe an NFL team should be paying these players. Maybe Dante Moore should get paid, and he can go back and stay in college.
He is getting paid.
Well, I mean, maybe an NFL team could pay him his NIL. Then you can free up money from the revenue share.
Okay. Do you really think an NFL team is going to pay Dante Moore $5 million to not play for the NFL team?
I don't think so in the NFL, but I do think so in the NBA because they park kids in the G League, and I'm saying so in the. That's why I didn't mention it so much in the NFL.
Right. Okay.
I think it would be very rare in the NFL. In basketball, though, I think maybe the NBA would pay basketball players to stay in college and have their rights.
I don't. I think they would want to get their hands on them and put them at least in their system in some way, shape, or form. I understand what you're saying. Listen. I'm going to be polite here. This is absurd. This is absurd. If you've
Bediako situation.
Yeah. If you've played professionally, if you've gotten paid, then you can no longer play college ball. I don't think
for Euros then? You're okay with that for the European players that got paid? since they were 16 years old, and they've been getting paid for 2-3 years, a lot more than 50 grand.
Well, okay, I'll say this. We need to come up with a parallel. Our system is very different. We don't have a 16, 17-year-old parallel where they're quote unquote getting paid to play. I think maybe we need to come up with, if the Euro kid, he can get paid at 16 and 17, but he can no longer get paid at 18. If he wants to play college ball, he needs to come over when he's a certain age. It's difficult to do. It's not an apples to apples thing, but we have to try to some way make it somewhat compatible. I just think, Tom, listen, I'm all for these kids getting paid. You know that. I'm fine with it being the wild, wild west 90% of the time. This kid should not be playing college ball. I mean, come on. We got to draw the line somewhere. I wish the coaches would have drawn the line. I get Nate saying, well, I'm not going to draw the line because this guy over here is not drawing the line. I get it. I almost wish the conference commissioners would get together and just draw the line for the coaches and take it out of their hands and just say, listen, the NCAAs, they're idiots. They're not willing to do it. We are. These are the rules. Abide by them.
I would agree with that, but we have to clean it up for everybody, because the same unfair scenario is in baseball. For example, we wonder why we've lost the inner city kid, playing Major League Baseball and so on. Major League Baseball teams can sign kids out of the Dominican and out of at 16 years old and start paying those kids and developing those kids, but they can't sign a kid that's playing in the inner city in New York City and give him money at 16 and put him in a program and develop him and so on and so forth. That kid's got to wait till he's 18 and go into.
But I will say the kid from the Dominican can't go play for the Vols. If the kid's signed by the
in general, you know what I mean?
I understand, but I mean, if a professional organization pays you to play, then you can no longer play college sports. I think it should be very simple. This is not difficult to comprehend. Yes, if the kid from the Dominican gets paid by the Orioles to join their system, good luck. Take care of your money. But at 20, 21 years of age, you can't go play for the Vols. Sorry, you've been a professional baseball player for 4 years.
That might be the next frontier on this.
And
Somebody's
maybe
do that. It could happen where somebody's going to say, you know what? They signed me at 16. I'm not developing as quickly. And now I want to go to college in the U.S. It could happen because this is the precedent, unless they stop the same thing with the Euro basketball player. Because some of those kids make huge money in professional basketball in Europe at age 16.
Yeah.
And they go into college basketball.
Absolutely.
It's got to be the same for everybody.
I agree. But, I mean, can't we at least agree something very simple? If you've been paid by a professional organization, you're no longer eligible to play college sports. Is that an outrageous request?
Well, I will say this in this changing world of sports. That makes so much sense because of amateurism, but there is no amateurism anymore. So how can we say, well, what if you've been paid by Xfinity to do a commercial for them, and you're getting paid by other entities?
Well, and I'm not doing it for amateurism. I'm just doing it so that we have a clean slate, playing field. Yeah. Everybody understands what it is. I'd love to sign you, but you signed 3 years ago with, Bayern Munich. I can't touch you. I don't know what to tell you. I hope you saved your money. That's just the way we operate. Because, I mean, haven't we made college sports professional enough? We have to make them more professional?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be full-on minor league. Because they won't need it. If what I say we're going, and if they could do this with a Bediako type case, there will be no need for a G League. They'll just use the college system as their minor leagues. By the way, the judge in the Bediako case has, in fact, recused himself I think Nick Saban has taken over the case now. I think that's the way that's going to work.
Right. Wait, hold on a second. No, I think it's Greg McElroy. I'm sorry. Greg McElroy, I believe, late word. Right.
He'll handle it. David Moulton with us here. All right. Let's talk about Bill Belichick. So he gets snubbed, allegedly, for the Hall of Fame year one. Bill Polian's taking a lot of heat because he's one of the guys that kind of leading the bandwagon saying, you know what, he should have to pay a little bit of a price for the cheating scandals. I got to be honest with you. I kind of expected this, and I really almost don't really have a big problem with it. There may be, because of those two major issues that existed. Look, he's clearly a Hall of Fame coach. And all the other coaches who are backed up now, like I'm backed up, they got to wait because you can't put any other coach in if you're not going to put Belichick in. You can't put anybody else in. So those guys got to wait now. Having said that, I kind of almost get it. You know, would you have just turned a blind eye to whatever happened and put Belichick in no matter what?
Well, I wouldn't have turned a blind eye. I mean, he cheated. He did. He cheated, okay? Spygate was cheating. Hey, the Michigan Wolverines and Harbaugh cheated. Bill Belichick and Spygate, they cheated. They did. The question is, does it disqualify you from the Hall of Fame permanently? Does it make you sit out a one-year penalty? Tom, I would argue his resume is so astounding that he, unlike most everyone else ever, can overcome a cheating situation. By the way, I don't put Deflategate on him. Okay, kickers and quarterbacks were taking care of their own footballs. If you believe that's a thing, then that's on Brady. That's not on Belichick. That's on Brady. But Spygate's totally Belichick. But here's my thing. If it's Bill Polian or anybody else, just man up. Just say, yeah, I didn't vote for him. Why? Spygate. He cheated. Okay. Is he a Hall of Famer? Yes. Is he going to get my vote next time? Yes. Did I want to take a stand and say there is something illustrious about being a first ballot Hall of Famer and then not? Yes, I did. And that's why I didn't vote for him. Okay. It's a one-year penalty on my part. By the way, 10 or 11 other people didn't have to agree with me, but just own up to it. Okay. I think it's a combination of that, and they're finally going to put Kraft in, finally. And I think Kraft, through his friends, said, please don't put Bill in at the same time. I don't want. Going to put me in. Please don't make me share it with Belichick. It would really take away some of the honor. So I think it's a combo deal. But my feeling is, whether it's Bill Polian or anybody else, own it. In fact, be proud about it. Be proud and say, I'm standing for not cheating. Criticize me.
My producers had to put up a Bill Belichick picture with his young girlfriend.
I saw that.
They had to go there, right? They had to go young girlfriend. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're holding that against them. I don't know. I love Bill Polian. He gave me great opportunities back when many years ago when he was the GM and then the president of the Buffalo Bills, and I had the opportunity to go and spend a lot of time in camp with the Bills as a coach, and I've always liked him. But for him to come out and say, after he said what he said originally, that he didn't vote for him, then to say, I don't know if I did or I did. How the hell do you not know?
Yeah, well, that I know.
You don't know. That sounds terrible. Don't
listen,
say
with all due respect, if you don't remember who you voted for, we need to take the vote away. So just own it. That's all, Bill. Just own it. Okay, there's a lot. By the way, we asked a poll question on our show this morning. Is Spygate essentially worthy of a one-year penalty? The vote was 70-30 no. But think about that. That means 30% of, my audience said yes. Well, think about it. You need 80% of the vote to get in. So essentially, our audience, while thinking he was a Hall of Famer, but enough of the audience said they had no problem penalizing him a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that too. By the way, I would have been on that side of that deal. The 1 year thing is fine. And just for the record, on the Deflategate thing, I don't even think it's a thing because guys,
I didn't either
forever. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, or was it Brett Favre? Aaron Rodgers wanted the balls overinflated. He has huge hands, and he'd like the ball to be overinflated.
Yes. And not only that, in the same game that he had the underinflated ball picked off, they played with the properly inflated balls the second half, and he threw for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, enough.
Yeah, that's not even a thing. All right. Next week we'll get into Super Bowl. I will say this: there's an interesting thing that's been going on about Sean Payton passing up the points. He needed to take those points.
Yes.
You knew weather was coming in or not. My God. I mean, you're playing with Jared Stidham at quarterback. You could take a 10-point lead. Your defense is playing out of their gourd. What are you doing? You want the 2-score lead there. No doubt about it. The funny thing is everybody's blaming it on analytics. And I don't know if you saw this or not. The analytics actually said to kick it. He went against the analytics and went with his own gut. Analytics said take the points on 4th down there in that case.
Wow. I would love to have seen that because during games, we have a screen in which the analytics are updated every play. It's not very often 4th and 1, analytics says kick. So I'd love to know if that's accurate, to be honest with you, but he should have kicked, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take into account everything. You got to take the analytics doesn't say, hey, I got a backup quarterback who hasn't played in 3 years. You know what I mean? You got to take it all in. And by the way, I'm not letting Sean McVay is getting a pass. Sean McVay at 5 minutes to go in the game, the first 4th down and goal or 4th down and 4 should have kicked there. And then he goes for it again later and doesn't get it and gets stoned. But at 5 minutes, if you can get within one, then when you get your final possession, all you got to do is get to the 40-yard line in these days and kick a 50-yard field goal to win the game.
Well, Tom, it's worse than that because actually the first 4th down, which was like 4th and 2 that Stafford scrambled on, that was with like 7 minutes to go in the game. They got another first down and completed another pass after that. Okay, he passed up the first field goal with like mid-4th quarter. He passed up the second field goal, 4th and 4 with 5 minutes to go. So he had 2 opportunities to kick the field goal there if, in fact, you wanted him to kick the field goal.
Yeah, 8:16 actually. I'm looking at the play sheet. There was 8:16 to go in the game on the 4th and 1 scramble from the 26-yard line.
Right.
Then
now, it's not a chip shot field goal. It's a 44-yard field goal, but we assume that NFL kickers make those these days.
Well, and then 4th and 4 from the 6. That is a chip shot. 4th and 4 from the 6 was at 4:59, 5 minutes to go in the game. Right. They would have gotten the ball back, and they would have just needed a field goal.
Well, maybe. Remember, they only got the ball back with 20 seconds to go. You don't know how it would have played out. Okay, it's possible he would have kicked the field goal and never got the ball back and lost 31-30.
Yeah, but at least you would have had a shot. You wouldn't have had to go for a touchdown. I thought all the attention is on Peyton and none on McVay. I think McVay got a little cutesy too.
Well, never mind the fact I had the Rams in 2.5, so I was a big fan of the field goal.
I had the Rams on my actual action, but I beat the big dog. I had Seattle, so I had the Rams and
that is shocking.
And I had the Rams and the Patriots together. And so
longtime listeners of this show are shocked to find out that privately you did one thing and publicly you did another. I mean, that never has happened over the last 30 years of you doing sports talk radio. You're so consistent. Okay, what you believe on Wednesday, you're going to bet and say on Saturday. I mean, I think it's shocking that people would find that out, that you went one way and then went another.
You understand value. I mean, the value of putting the Patriots and the Rams together was like plus 175. When I'm doing beat the big dog, I'm just saying, okay, this is what I think is going to, he's going to cover the spread. But, you know what I mean? One was the money line was ridiculous for the Seahawks, and, value. I went with value. It was a value selection.
Gotcha.
Appreciate you as always. Great stuff by you. And next week we'll set up the Super Bowl.
Yeah. By the way, I'm taking Seattle. Back to you.
No, I'm taking New England. So I'm glad we're on opposite sides of that one. So
name the bet. So. Literally name the bet. I have no problem making it.
Over or under on how many times we hear
Wilson with 33 seconds and counting. Waiting on the snap. Lynch to his left, Baldwin to the left as well. Stack receivers, 2 to the right. Russell Wilson extends the hands he has. Wilson, quick throw. And it's intercepted. Intercepted to Malcolm Butler. Butler has it at the 1. Malcolm Butler stepping in front of the throw. And the Patriots have possession with 20 seconds to go in Super Bowl 49 with a 4-point lead over the Seahawks.
It's got to be one of the dumbest calls offensively in Super Bowl history.
I love Scott Zola. I love him. How many times will we hear that next week?
About 132. And imagine if Brady and Fox were doing the game, because then we'd get Tom's reaction to it, including, remember when he was jumping up and down like a kid on the sidelines.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. All right, man. Appreciate you. We'll talk next week.
All right, be good.
We get a break. When we come back, the great Walter Jones will join us next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brett Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Alabama Malls, Missouri, 90-64. The Coleman Coliseum last night. The Crimson Tide earned the victory, covering as 10.5-point home favorites. Today in the SEC, it's Auburn laying 5.5 at home at Texas at Neville Arena, 160.5 the total. Tennessee in action on the road at Georgia. The Bulldogs are the 2.5-point home favorite, 159.5 the total. And LSU, they're at home at Mississippi State at 6.5-point favorites at the Maravich Assembly Center. Jacksonville State Gamecocks today on the road at FIU. It's 4.5-point underdogs, 149.5 the total. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's Larry from Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Chris Lowe, it has been a bleak fortnight in Alabama.
They made progress, but I think the fact that they lost 2 of their last 3 games, money games that everybody remembers, is something that's not going to sit well.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com. Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement, it's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943. FDIC.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 256-202-4200. That's 256-202-4200.
Annuities not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by the award-winning service department at Woody Anderson Ford. That's right. They take care of the routine checkups. They keep your Ford or other brand in perfect working order. But if you have a bigger problem, they got these expert service technicians that can diagnose it, use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. I take my vehicles there. I've been doing it, for nearly 20 years now. It's Woody Anderson Ford and the service department. Second to none. Check out Woody Anderson Ford today. And welcome back to Thom Abraham Show. What do you just randomly in whatever you want now? Or is that what's going on here?
Mr. Jones, but I knew you would.
See, I get it. It did go right over my head. Right over my head. Walter Jones played 180 straight games, started 180 games, and had his career ended by an injury. In 2004, John Madden said he was the best offensive player in the entire NFL. Not best lineman or tackle. They say he was the best offensive player in the entire NFL. Of course, he came out of Florida State, and where he had an excellent career there. He was the 6th pick in the first round of the 1997 draft. And we've debated it a little bit here. We knocked around some names as far as where Walter would be in terms of the best left tackle in the history of the game. Mike Holmgren said that Walter Jones is the best offensive player he ever coached. Offensive player, period. And I think Mike Holmgren coached a few pretty good ones, like Brett Favre and some others when he was with the Packers. And Big Walt joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Walt, welcome back to the show, brother. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, man. How you been, man? It's good to hear from you, and thanks for having me on.
It is good to talk to you. I was reminiscing about the days where you used to come out to the remotes. We do the draft shows together and things like that, and we had a good time back in the day, man.
Yeah, well, it's a fun time. We both came a long way. Probably you more than me, so.
I think you probably came a little bit further along than me. And I was telling the story about how many years in a row did you get franchise tagged where because we used to sit in the stands together and watch our boys play football at Sparkman. And I'm like, why aren't you in camp? And like, I'm not under contract. And you get franchised and you'd show up before the first game and play lights out.
Oh yeah, that happened like 3 times back to back. I think the first year, I got it, and they was trying to, I was trying to be like, okay, I'm not going to show up. So, you're talking to your agent, you understand your agent. So that first year, I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna hold out. So I missed like 2 games the regular season, and then I went back to my agent. I was like, hey, how much money I'm losing every game I miss? And I said to myself, I would never miss where the actual money starts. So that's when the next contract, I was like, okay, I'll be there. Once I sign my contract on that Monday start the season, that's when I'll be in, because I was not in the business of losing money. So I was thinking to myself, I got to be there once those checks start coming in.
I hear you. I feel you. All right. So you're, so I know you're in Florida now. Are you living full time in Seattle? I know obviously you're very active out there.
Oh, definitely. I'm there doing this. Basically, I'm like a football player kind of way. I go out for the season. I do radio stuff out there. I got a post-game show. A post-game show I've been doing now for the last, almost 10 years. So that's been very good for me personally, being there locally and getting a chance to do interviews with some of these players, getting a chance to be around these guys and getting to know them and as a person and then as a player. But now, the reason why I'm in Florida right now, I'm in the process of building my home out here in Tallahassee, because I know that this is where I want to end up when it's all said and done. So that's where I'm at now, trying to, how that goes when you're building a home. You got to do all the tedious work, picking out this, picking out that. So, while we got a week off for Super Bowl, I get a chance to kind of knock some stuff out this week.
I think it's hilarious that you're in the media now because, 20 years ago, and it's been 20 years, when you and I started doing radio together, and it was like pulling teeth. I mean, it was hard to get you to talk. You know what I mean? It was like I couldn't get anything. I'd have to have 20 questions ready to do 8 minutes with you back then. And now here you are, a big radio star in Seattle.
Hey, back then they teach you like, hey, give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like at that time, I think it's more just learning. You think about guys that do interview. How often do you see offensive linemen? Because I think majority of most offensive linemen is going to be straight to the point. They're not going to give up nothing. They half the time probably don't want to be there doing the interview. So I feel like now for me personally, the reason why I do it because I know there's a kid out there, a lineman that's out there that all they focus on football. I know. The knowledge that I know now, I wish I would have did while I was playing the game because now I understand that the organization is there to help you. Sometimes there's a divide between the people that works upstairs to play out to the players. So now I try to teach the younger guys that get to know the organization from the players all the way up to the top office guys because those people are part of everything that you do and everything that's get done.
What's funny is that after their playing careers are over, offensive linemen tend to be some of the best guys on the radio. And I worked with Brad Hopkins. We see what the Bussin' with the Boys guys are doing with Taylor Lewan and his gig. And you look at the guys that are working on TV nationally, like Whitworth and those kind of guys. It's like offensive line guys have a lot to say. They just don't say it while they're playing. Even the guy that owns our radio station in Huntsville is a former offensive lineman at Alabama, where he was a all SEC player. And it's like offensive line guys end up being the best media guys after their playing career is over.
I think it's just a product of alignments. Most time linemen we already determined what we want to do. We're homebodies. We kind of got to figure it out. You're going to be married soon or quick or whatever. You're going to have it all laid out. And I think these guys are all about straight to the point. Give the information. And there's, like we're not. I don't do it for clicks. I think you hear that all the time. People say stuff just for clicks. I just try to give out. And I'm not here to bash players because I understand I played the game. So I understand how media can affect you or affect your family too. You know what I'm saying? You say stuff and you might not see it, but trust me, your family and friends are seeing it. So for me personally, I'm not here. If a guy played bad, I'm going to say he played bad, but I'm not going to call for a guy's job. I'm not going to call for a coach's job because that's somebody's family member. You know what I'm saying? That's someone's brother, father. So I try to respect that part of the game and try to just give the facts and be done with it.
Yeah, Hall of Famer Walter Jones with us here. All right, so when Sam Darnold shows up, and you saw that they had signed that dude, he had come off a terrible performance in the playoffs for the Vikings, but had a great year, revived his career with the Vikings. When he shows up, what's your mindset at that point in time? Are you like, all right, we got a dude, or were you very, let's wait and see?
I think it's more of a, for me personally, I look at the numbers. I know that, I think all of us as players, especially as quarterbacks, they have bad games, and I get it. All theirs is all about winning. What did you do in the big games? What do you do this? And I totally understand that, but still, again, you can't take away what this guy has done for the last 2 years. Even though with those 2 bad games, you can't take away the stuff that he have done in the last 2 years. He won 14 games with Minnesota, came out here to Seattle, a new coach, a new offense, new players, and able to do the same thing. So I appreciate the fact that the Seahawks saw something that probably a lot of people probably didn't see or give him that guy the opportunity. But a lot of times your past can help you out with your future. You understand that anytime you do something wrong, your past is going to be brought up. We're not forgetting it, but I think it's all about embracing what the guy's doing right now. And I think he's been amazing these last 2 years. And going to different teams and stuff, it's just like coaches, you learn at every stop. So I'm hoping that this is his final stop, and he definitely continues setting the standard for the Seattle Seahawks.
What a year. Mike McDonald has done such a great job with this team, a defensive guy. We got 2 defensive head coaches here in this Super Bowl. So if the Seahawks are down by 4 and around the 1 yard line and Mike McDonald is the head coach and it's second down and goal, do you think they're giving it to Kenneth Walker or something? I mean, you think they're going to turn around and hand it off this time?
I think so, man. I think that still going to be a question, answer. Everybody going to have confusion. I think everybody witnessed that Super Bowl and was like, especially the way, it's so crazy to me, how these games are because you can pick out plays where you're saying, man, that play would have been on the Super Bowl commercial forever. You got to think about the catch the receiver made there on the 1 yard, on the 5 yard line where he caught it 2 times and stuff like that. So you think about that stuff. Those plays, you will never remember those plays because they won't be on no highlights from that because we didn't win the game. So I think if we be in that situation this time, it's going to be a homage to Marshawn Lynch and everything, knowing that they're going to always bring that play up. Think about how many times they're going to bring that play up throughout the highlights next week during the game. I think that could be a great drinking game for everybody, for the family. How many times they're going to show that pick throughout the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but we set the over under next week at 132 times that we'll either see it or hear it, so we think that it'll certainly be played quite a bit. Walter Jones with us here. How is McDonald about embracing the vets like you? I mean, you played in a Super Bowl, so you know what these guys are going to deal with in the 2-week run up to it, and all of the hoopla around Super Bowl week and everything else. Do you have the opportunity, and do the other vets have the opportunity to talk to some of the guys on the team and say, this is what you're in for this week?
I think so. I think a lot of people understand how this works. You get the 2 weeks off. I think this is the week where you're putting in the game plan, you're getting everything done. So when they decide to leave, was that Sunday or Monday to go out to the Super Bowl site, their plays have been in. The game plan is in. So now when you get there from Monday to Sunday, it's all about just fine tuning. You got to do all this media requests. I think that's the one thing that I think you don't understand until you get there how much media presence is there, and it's not just in California or in the United States. It's media from everywhere, so you don't even understand the types of questions or the type of the background stuff that people do on you that comes to you with questions, stuff that you did in high school and stuff like that. So I think you talk to those guys and prepare them for them and stuff like that, but still again. And then I tell the younger guys, for me personally, they say it's just the same game, but it's not. It's the Super Bowl. And I try to stay on my original plan. Like, hey, I don't go out for pregame. I don't do this. I just go out for the stretch, get ready for the game. But when we lost that game, I felt like I didn't embrace the Super Bowl. And I think Coach McDonald does a great job of telling these guys, it's okay to take a breath and embrace and enjoy what you have done and what you're about to accomplish. So I would tell those guys, definitely go out for pregame, see your family, see all the hoopla, see where you at, and take it all in.
The Seahawks do have a Super Bowl victory, of course, when they blew out Denver, and they played that one in New York City. This one will be there in San Francisco. So being in the same time zone, I think that's a little bit of an underrated thing. I mean, for New England, they've got to come from the Eastern time zone all the way to San Francisco, where for Seattle, they're just going down the coast and just body clock wise and everything. I know they'll have a week to acclimate and everything, but I still think that that's a little bit of a thing. But in your mind, what has Seattle done? If they've won their second Super Bowl, when we get to Sunday night on February 8th, what have they done right? What is the key for them to get this victory?
I think stick to the plan they did in the playoffs. I felt like once we got in the playoffs, especially I think the last game against the 49ers, I kind of felt like the running backs had figured it out because I thought a lot of times K9 is an amazing running back. He's always going to be looking for the score, but I felt like throughout the season he was always trying to make the big play, and sometimes the big play is a gain of 5 yards or gain of 4 yards going straight ahead. So I felt like those guys definitely in that last game, the last game there, I felt like the running backs just hit the hole. They wasn't doing a lot of dancing, and you saw that the running game, and you saw that in the playoffs, that the running backs was definitely hitting the hole. So for offensively, I feel like they have found their bread and butter, the plays that they know that they running backs like, and I like the fact that the running backs are falling forward. They're not dancing in the backfield, and you can see that happen as the game. You get 5, and you get 6, and then all of a sudden, the late games, you're getting 13, you're getting 14. So I feel like the running backs have figured out. And I feel with the Donald thing, I think Donald is understanding what he has to do for this team. Is just put everybody in the right place and put the ball where it should be at. And it's okay to take a sack. A lot of times you get caught up in the hype and what he don't think he's not thinking about his past stuff. But still, again, I think sometimes as you live to fight another day, sometimes that can be a positive to help your team. And like I say, and the defense do what they do, rally to the football and make plays and let that offense, the New England Patriots, feel them and make it feel like it's more than 11 guys on the football field.
All right, and finally, before I let you go, we were trying to figure out the short list of guys that are left tackles that are in your class. But in your mind, who would be outside of Walter Jones? Who's like the greatest left tackle that you can think of, or a couple of guys that you think of that these guys are great?
That's for me. For me personally, that's easy for me because I give homage to all these guys. Because if I didn't see those guys on film, I wouldn't be able to do what I've done. Like for me personally, when I first started playing this game or got introduced to the game, my coach gave me a DVD of Anthony Munoz. He was doing an instructional video, and I feel like Anthony Munoz could have played in this era, the type of athletic he was, the way that he moved people. And then I go with Tony Baselli. I thought when Tony Baselli came to Jacksonville, I thought he was the epitome of how a left tackle should look, how he should set, how he should look in every snap. Like he's never looked like he's confused or dazed. He know what he's doing. He's never looked rushed. So for me, I look at those guys: Willie Rowe, Orlando Pace. Who else? I'm thinking of the guy in Baltimore, Jonathan Ogden. So those guys kind of paved the way for me because I had a chance to watch those guys as I played the game to figure out how they do it every game. I got to be better than them. I got to be better than them against that guy. So for me, those are the guys I put up there. Those are the guys that I really, really kind of cherish the fact that I had those guys playing at the same time I was playing. So I knew what I had to do every week.
You nailed it. Always does. Walter Jones has been our guest. Walt, I appreciate you so much. Safe travels back out for the Super Bowl. And, let's not wait so long before we chat again.
Oh, let's do that, man. Appreciate everything, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right, man. Thank you. Walter Jones. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back, wrap it up next, right here in the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's softball time in Alabama, and the best place for your travel softball team to play is with USSSA. Not only for the best travel team tournaments, but recreational tournaments as well for your high school level softball team. Plus, Alabama softball will host the USSSA National Championship this year at the Gulf Shore in Orange Beach and the Foley Softball Complex. For more information, visit alfastpitch.usssa.com. Check out the schedule at alfastpitch.usssa.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
AL cert number 21014.
As we flip the calendar to 2026, the holiday season may have left you a little short in the bank account. but Talon Heating and Air will not leave you out in the cold.
That's right. We're still offering free second opinions and service calls with repairs. In addition to that, we're offering up to $1,600 in TVA rebates.
Very easy to do. If you need that $1,600 rebate, all you got to do is
give us a call at 256-503-4490.
Talon Heating and Air. They're live, they're local, and you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
Who doesn't need to save
$1,600?
Very easy to do. Again, Talent Heating and Air, the number and the web.
That's 256-503-4490 or talenthvac.com.
It's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. Give them a call today.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by my friends at All About Water LLC. Well, you can learn more about them at allaboutwaterllc.com. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but look, they do everything that has anything to do with water, whether it's building a pond or refreshing your pond or a water feature on your property or drainage on your property. Whatever it is involving water, they do it. That includes irrigation, maintenance of your irrigation, installation of irrigation. All About Water LLC. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. We do have a Beat the Big Dog tomorrow. It'll be Beat the Big Prop tomorrow. We'll have all prop picks tomorrow and Beat the Big Dog. Super Bowl props. It's always a lot of fun. We'll have some goofy ones in there. It's good stuff. Who will join Wolverine Dan in the TOC Ice Suite for a game in March? We'll find out. In the meantime, Grasshopper and Hollywood Hogan did great jobs on the show. I'm Tom Abraham. You have a great rest of your day.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. Tuesday night SEC basketball. 23rd ranked Alabama would get a career-high 7 3-pointers from Latrell Wrightsell as the Crimson Tide would use a strong second half to pull away from Missouri 90-64.